I love the Worms franchise. These are games where you take turns trying to kill each other's worms. Would I still love you if you were a worm? No, hold this holy hand grenade. This series has been special in its ability to make even the smallest misinput blow up in your face in the funniest Rube Goldberg-ass ways. I remember loving this series growing up, but I found from trying to talk to people about it recently that, no one really knows what this series is anymore. And I guess I can't blame them. These games basically stopped coming out after 2016. I think I might have been one of the very few people on Earth elated to hear about the release of Worms Tower Defense, a tower defense game featuring the Worms franchise officially licensed on Roblox. This is such a funny choice to me because the crossover demographic between Worms fans and Roblox players in the year 2026 has to be two completely separate circles, right? I think Worms fans, I think 30-something-year-old man uploading trickshot highlights of Worms Armageddon. These guys are not hopping on Steal a Brain Rot. And yeah, surprise, surprise, this game is dead within a month. I have seen one player that isn't a friend I invited to play with me join a lobby ever, and they instantly left.
Who's this?
Oh, we have a friend?
This does not look like a real person.
I've never seen a double-digit player count in this game. So that being said, what you're about to witness is elite ball knowledge, okay? This isn't some fighting game you can't even play anymore bullshit about a game that was sold on like 6 different platforms and was free on PS Plus for a month. This is a game that less than 100 people have played for more than an hour. I have 3 hours and I am ranked 20th in time spent playing this game. Googling this game before I made this video, there is one single Reddit post about it. 8 updates. And as of me recording this video, other than the official trailer for the game, there is only one other video on YouTube about it, and it looks like this.
Today I will be teaching you how to get around 3,000 coins ever match in Worms Tower Defense with only the starter unit.
Today, I'm going to be talking about the Worms franchise, how it's deteriorated in recent years, and the result of that deterioration, Worms Tower Defense, the most broken tower defense game I've ever played. If you don't know, the Worms series is made by Team 17, who a lot of you will probably recognize as the guys that publish like a million indie games. Overcooked, Dredge, Golf with Your Friends, The Escapist, you've definitely seen something they've been involved with. The Worms series is a 2D multiplayer tactical artillery game series. I'm not going to go too deep into Worms history here, but you can kind of split this series into 4 different categories. You have 2D Worms games where the ninja rope can do this. You have 3D 2D Worms games where there's water physics and the rope looks like a real rope. Then there's the real 3D Worms games where the rope works like a 2D Worms game. And then there's spin-offs with no rope, and that makes me sad. I just want to shoot rope with my wormies. This series was actually really consistent, releasing a new game, port, or expansion almost yearly for like 20 years, from the first Worms game in 1997 to Worms WMD in 2017. Then after that, we have the era we're going to be focusing on today. In the almost 10 years since Worms WMD, this series has seen 3 game releases, with the most recent being Worms Tower Defense on Roblox. And yes, this game is officially licensed and published by Team 17. They even proudly display it on their website. Now, because Worms Tower Defense is on Roblox, it needs to have some sort of gacha microtransactions. Every tower is obtained through a loot crate system, and you can obtain crates by using in-game currency you win from matches, sitting in the AFK corner, or paying real money. Now, I don't think this system is as bad as a lot of Roblox games. It's honestly pretty easy to get crates quickly. I think this system was more so designed to hide how little content this game really has. I think what makes tower defense as a genre fun is just how insane it can get over time. Going from one single dart monkey to, oh my god, what the fuck is happening? Like, you haven't lived if you haven't played Bloons TD on a phone, placed as many towers as you could, watch the frame rate crumble, and your phone starts to feel like it's about to explode. I think the most obvious problem with Worms Tower Defense is there aren't that many towers, and each player is limited to placing 10 of them max. Look at how big these maps are for just 10 towers. Worms Tower Defense at the highest escalation is just a small crowd of guys, and then half the map is barren. You don't get that satisfaction of filling every square inch of the map map with towers. Then we get to the issue that a lot of these towers are just exactly the same. You've got low damage, high fire rate. Then you've got high damage, low fire rate. Look at these 3 towers: Cowboy, Grenadier, and General. They all do the same thing. Each one throws explosives every so often with slightly different stats. The only difference is their rarity. Some towers from crates are just straight up better versions of others, and it's justified by how rare they are. None of these towers have any real utility. Actually, scratch that. I think Tim Scientist here slows down enemies slightly. Everyone else is just a slightly different circle of damage. Maybe some towers have other functions that I just don't know about, but it's kind of hard to figure that out when the game doesn't tell you any of that info, and there are 0 external resources about this game available online. There's 3 legendary towers in the game. The airport is just kind of a better version of that Cowboy evolution line I talked about earlier, with high fire rate explosives over a large area. The professor does insane damage very quickly. Like, for reference, this epic tower called the Wobblis does 250 damage every 11 seconds with a 20-meter radius. Seems pretty intimidating, but he comes at a cost of $2,500. The professor does 85 damage every 2 seconds with a 15-meter radius and only costs $900. Why would anyone ever buy the Wobblis? It costs more, it does less damage over time, and it costs even more to upgrade. I genuinely don't think it's possible to get a fully upgraded Wobblis in a single game. And then there's this tower, the like and subscribe button. By pressing like on this video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment about how lame this bit is, you would be seriously helping me out. How broken is that? Anyways, let's talk about the grandma. Grandma's stats seem abhorrent. 100 damage every 30 seconds and a range of 2, but they don't tell the whole story. When you place a grandma, she will start spawning from your base and walk along the path to the enemy's base. If the grandma has more health than an enemy she runs into, she will take that amount of damage and keep walking. If the grandma has less health than the enemy, she will explode and take that enemy with her. The problem with this, it does not matter whatsoever how much health the enemy has. There is no cap.
Oh my god, can she even reach?
What is she doing?
What? She's invisible. Wait, what? What, is this a glitch? Why does she look like that?
Wait, oh, she's coming from the other side.
Whoa. Wait, what?
You gonna ram it?
Whoa.
Oh, she.
Oh
takes
my
damage for
god.
it. Oh, she's put herself. If she one-shots this, it's insane.
Very funny game.
And literally, if she dies and doesn't kill it, we're fucked. Oh my god. This is the question. Yeah, this is the moment.
If it does it, there's no way you sell. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't believe that happened.
Grandma will take down a normal grunt just as easily as she takes down a boss with thousands of health. Luckily though, this is balanced by her rate, right? She can only do it every 30 seconds, that's what the stats said, right? I don't know if they put that stat there as a placeholder or just didn't know how to give her a cooldown, but she absolutely just respawns the second she dies. This tower is so absurd that you can boot up this game on the hardest difficulty, place one single grandma, you don't even have to upgrade it, and you will win. Let's see if it lets me skip the wave and then place a grandma. This would be very funny if it just worked. But it's just like the faster they get here, the faster the grandmas spawn. And like they move so slow to the point where I don't know if they can like close that gap fast enough. Oh, these guys are kind of quick though. Doesn't matter. They're making it further though. Oh, this is a crazy cluster. That might be the end with this molten guy. Oh, I don't know if we live this actually, but it's like, it's exponential, right? Yeah, that's crazy. I wince every time, but it's always no big deal for her. God, I wish these health bars weren't here for the sake of making a video that's watchable. That might be it. No way. Oh my god, she's nasty. I beat the hardest difficulty by placing a single tower. That's insane. How do you balance your tower defense game like that? The grandma is absurd. I know other tower defense games have high-level strategies that use one tower, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not super familiar with this genre. Usually these strategies are super map dependent and require you to upgrade into specific skill paths. Worm's tower defense can be beaten by placing one grandma anywhere on the map and just leaving your PC to go grab lunch or something. She is the third cheapest tower in the entire game. Seemingly, the only thing that balances her is that you only have a 5% chance of rolling her from a golden crate. Ironically, you have worse odds of getting her from the pay-to-win crates. I think this even being in the game shows that the devs were too lazy to even do the most basic of playtesting, and that not enough players could even obtain this before the game died to complain about it. I was curious about how long I could AFK in the endless mode, spawning 10 maxed out grandmas and then leaving my PC. One thing I noticed is that the game isn't actually infinite. It resets after 25 rounds, which is the same length as the hardest difficulty. Wave 26 will have higher health enemies, but they will spawn the same amount of enemies as Wave 1. How do you only make infinite mode scale health when the strongest tower in the game disregards health entirely? They couldn't even make an infinite mode in a tower defense game where the rounds continue to scale in difficulty. I was able to get like 75 rounds deep or something before I actually got kicked from the game for inactivity, but yeah, if one grandma can solo the hardest difficulties, 10 grandmas can consistently back up the enemies all the way to their spawn. This game has a PvP mode as well. Basically, you and opponent are playing two separate games, but you're able to spend your money to not only build up your side, but also send enemies to the other side. The problem with this mode is you can't really send any strong enemies, so you're essentially just giving the other team free money for kills. The existence of the grandma in a PvP setting had me super intrigued, but I was shocked to find out that she does not work. At first, I thought they somehow knew about the grandma and disabled it only in the competitive mode, but I just don't buy that. If they knew how strong the grandma was, why would they allow it to solo the hardest difficulty in the game and co-op in single player? And also, if it really was supposed to be banned in PvP, why would I still be able to purchase and place it? No, I think the much more likely conclusion is that something about PvP breaks the grandma. My guess is that the grandma was programmed to spawn at the player's base, but because there's actually two bases on this map, it doesn't know what to do and therefore refuses to do anything. I think this is further proved by the fact that you can place towers on your enemy's side and they will actively help them. Towers in this mode don't have any specific allegiance. It's essentially the co-op mode, but they duplicated the map. There is one more broken part of the PvP mode. There's this one enemy you can summon called the Ghost. It's actually the cheapest enemy you can purchase and costs only $25 to summon. Now, when I was playing the co-op mode, we remarked on how useless this enemy was. It's quick and it has low health, and while we initially expected it to work like a camo balloon from Bloons, where only certain towers could shoot it, that was not the case. Even the most basic unupgraded tower in the game was able to take these out. But in the PvP mode, that is not the case. Now, I don't know if these enemies are fully broken and just invulnerable to all attacks in this mode, or maybe they actually do work like camo balloons in this mode specifically, and only certain towers can attack them and we didn't know which ones. There's no in-game indication that that's the case. There's no upgrades that say they can see ghosts, no in-game explanation. None of the many towers we tried would ever hit these, so the meta in Worm's tower defense PvP is to spawn as many of the cheapest and weakest enemies as you can and watch as they invincibly storm your opponent's base while they can't do anything about it. Just all around, this game feels unfinished. I've mainly been talking about balance and glitches, but everything else surrounding the game, the leaderboards hardly work and lag out constantly if you try to scroll down too far. Making and joining a clan just literally doesn't work at all. A lot of the upgraded towers have broken or unfinished animations. The AFK corner sometimes just forgets to give you rewards, and I had this one incident where the game completely broke. I was stuck on this green screen for a few minutes. When I finally got in, all my towers in progress were gone, and none of the interactable zones worked. Luckily, this resolved itself when I rebooted the game, but it shouldn't happen regardless. Is this not insane? This is an officially licensed game for a franchise with over 75 million lifetime sales. The lack of testing, polish, even just general quality is astonishing to me. But to be completely honest, it really isn't that surprising. You would think games this broken should get patched. Maybe make the grandma only deal a certain amount of damage on her explosion, maybe fix some of the broken animations, maybe make the ghost behavior consistent across both modes. But it's been like 2 months, and it seems like there's no plans to address any of it because I'm literally the only person booting up this game. Like I said earlier on, I have never seen a single soul online except for that one guy who left immediately. There really isn't a reason to update a game that no one plays. But then again, no one plays this game because there are no updates and it's really broken. I have like 3 hours on this game and I have every single tower in the game. I've beaten every map on the hardest difficulty and there's no one to play PvP against. If there's nothing for me to do after just 3 hours, why would anyone ever come back to this? Hey, so this is me as I'm editing this video. You might have noticed the text boxes I've been putting in the video saying the stats are displaying incorrectly and stuff like that. That's because something is happening to this game. For one thing, the crate chances have been entirely reworked and the grandma is no longer in them at all. If you didn't play Worms Tower Defense before this video, I'm sorry to say the grandma tower as of right now is lost media. Okay, update inside the update, the crates updated again. I think I caught them as they were changing stuff and now the grandma is no longer lost media, but much rarer, like a 1 in 200 chance. So after like 4 months of nothing, as I'm editing this video, the devs have finally updated this game and the only change was to make the existing towers much rarer in the gacha system. But yeah, when I showed crate odds earlier, those are no longer accurate. These are the new ones. Seem much greedier overall, but whatever. That isn't the only thing the devs updated though. This game has not been playable for like a full week. If you try opening any crates, you don't receive the worms in your inventory anymore. Your Robux are now lost media. Every tower's stats no longer display correctly. The stats are lost media. Every rate is set to 0.1 seconds and the damage numbers are much different than before. Maybe they updated the damage, but there is currently no way to check. If you try to boot into a game, you can no longer select a map or difficulty. You get thrown into normal difficulty Frosty Peaks, and there you are now soft locked because the game will not start. The round timer is stuck at 1 second and enemies will never spawn. If you try to boot into infinite mode, same thing. If you get a friend online to boot into PvP, you can still manually spawn enemies with your starting cache, but no normal enemies will spawn. Also, one time I booted in and had no towers at all, and when my base reached 0 health, the game didn't end. I was stuck in the worms back rooms. This isn't like the game failed and they're taking it down. The server's still up. You can still join the lobby. You just can't play it. This has made collecting footage for this video super annoying because I'm relying on footage I got weeks ago and my friend's stream VOD from months ago. I don't know if I just happened to be trying to get footage for this video during a huge stretch of maintenance or if this game will genuinely never be playable again. But it's been a whole ass week. There's no official update announced in the news tab right now, but clearly things are being changed. But what I do know is that I am probably the only human being on Earth that noticed it was down. So yeah, if everything else I told you about this game wasn't enough, the game is so broken, it was actively falling apart before I could even finish making a video about it. Anyways, back to the other me. Maybe you're thinking it's just a Roblox game. It was a quick little cash grab and they don't treat it like a real game. Well, let's talk about the rest of this franchise because I believe Worms Tower Defense is incredibly representative of this series as a whole. Worms Rumble. This is a live service battle royale game that launched in 2020 where you can queue up with up to 32 players in some live action 2D shooting mayhem. You can't play this game anymore. Now, when it came out, it averaged just about 187 players. Within 3 months, it was down to 22. Nowadays, this game is lucky to hit 5 average players within any given month. Unlike a lot of these types of games that hinge on having active player bases that don't have active player bases, this game is still up. The problem is there's no lobby system. You can't make custom games with friends, so you're forced to queue, and queue you will. If you purchase this game, that's right, it's not even free, even 5 years later. If you purchase this game at the full $15 price point, you will sit in queue alone. There's no bots. I don't understand. Even Fortnite, probably the most popular game right now, has so many bots to fill games. Use creator code BIGGARF, by the way. Like, why doesn't the game just put me in a bot lobby at the very least? Is it better for your game to just be a static queue screen? Worms Rumble is a Discord fighter, man. You have to actively schedule when you queue up for this game. I tried queuing at the same time as 2 other people, and it still didn't give us a game until a 4th logged on. The game did not even get a full year of content updates. Support for this game stopped in September of 2021. No warnings, just fully cut off and radio silence. You know, a live service game needs live service to stay alive. It's a shame too, because the very few games I've been able to actually play are kind of fun, but you can't play it. There was zero effort made in making sure this game could at least remain playable after being abandoned. Like, I don't know, maybe if you know your game has a dwindling player count, you could focus on making modes for smaller groups of people. Why can't you just section off smaller areas of these battle royale maps and make modes built for 2 to 4 players? Why can't people make custom lobbies where they can make these rules for themselves? Why do I have to sit in queue with 2 of my friends just to wait for one random person to join to give us a 4-player match? Is 3 really not good enough? You want us to sit here looking at the worm dog panting emote instead of just playing with 3 people? Again, this game came out and was abandoned. No efforts to even make it playable for future consumers, and despite that, they still have the nerve to sell this for $15. Like, either make this free or make it at least playable with a small group of friends. It's not like I boot up Worms Revolution Ranked looking for games and complaining. I boot up that game specifically to make a lobby with a group of friends. Why does Rumble not support the main way that people play this series? $15? Hollow Knight is $15. The only other recent Worms game to come out was an Apple Arcade game, which I honestly still don't know what Apple Arcade is and don't particularly care to find out. I don't think it counts. Can we shake on that? Did you know there's a $180 Worms bundle on Steam? It has 12 Worms games dating back to the oldest one from 1997. Honestly, pretty neat for preservation. Making Steam ports of these games that were made for older computers is pretty cool on paper. The Steam ports of these games are horrible. Worms Crazy Golf doesn't have online, and trying to play it with Parsec is an actual nightmare.
Nice little putt.
That shot was so sick. I saw all of it.
Thank you.
I can't get Worms World Party to launch without this giant white square covering a quarter of the screen. Worms Blast consistently crashes before you can even finish the first 3 levels. Older games like Armageddon, Pinball, and the original Worms weren't even optimized for modern PCs, and they're stuck running full screen at weird aspect ratios. And they just crash if you alt-tab. Worms Ultimate Mayhem has so many annoying bugs that the community had to make a patch to fix them. Again, Worms Rumble is a live service battle royale game that's supposed to have 32 players per match, but Steam chart shows that it hasn't averaged more than 5 players in almost 2 years. I got this bundle on sale for like $30 and still feel like I kind of got ripped off. Worms Revolution, Worms Clan Wars, and Worms WMD are the only games from this collection that I can boot up without even having to think about any of this. None of these games will ever get fixed. If you buy Worms Blast for $8, you will never get to see level 4. The only update that game will get is an advertisement for their new game that you still can't play. If you buy Worms World Party for $15, the same price as Worms games that actually work, by the way, you can't even play it without jumping through so many hoops only for it to still have awful performance. Even the games that work. Why is Worms Clan Wars, a 13-year-old game, still $25? Worms to Team 17 is like Sonic to Sega. This is your mascot. This is your franchise that your company was built upon in the first place. Could you imagine if Sega released all of these broken and unfinished Sonic games and ports? Bad example. Could you imagine if Mario was treated this way? Even Super Mario 3D All-Star, which was a blatant cash grab of 3 ROMs thrown onto a single cartridge, it still worked. And when there were things about the game that didn't work, like GameCube trigger sensitivity, they actually listened and patched it in. Why does Team 17 continuously abandon Worms like this over and over again? Bad ports of old games that never get fixed, a live service game that has no support and no fixes for the low player count, a shittily made Roblox cash grab that they couldn't even bother to do the most basic playtesting on. The last traditional Worms game they've made is turning 10 years old this year, and that game hasn't even been updated in 7 years. On one hand, it feels like they don't know what to do with this series. WMD, for all intents and purposes, is a perfect Worms game. It might not be your favorite or anything, but from a casual perspective, it has the most weapons, the most new mechanics, it has a really cool stylized art style, the rope does this again, and the workshop is pretty fucking funny. Where do you take this series when there's really not much more to add to the traditional formula besides just new weapons? On the other hand, their attempts at branching out are so half-hearted. How do you abandon a live service game in less than a year and not even add any sort of feature for players who still want to play it? How do you release a Roblox game so broken and poorly made that even Roblox Roblox players don't fuck with it. Those guys have no standards. Chuck together some recognizable characters, bright colors, and opportunities to drain your parents' bank accounts, and they are happy. Like, you couldn't even cash grab correctly? 12 towers in your gacha system? That's it? How about let players buy worm pets that follow them around? Special cosmetics? Nothing? Not even a single attempt at an update? The mismanagement of the Worms series is honestly tragic to me. I think a lot of these old games are really fun, but the Steam ports don't do them any justice. I think Worms Rumble was the base for a decently fun spin-off, but they left it unplayable, and Worms Tower Defense feels like the culmination of all of this. A broken, unfinished game that will be left to rot out and die. Worms is no longer a big series. I think in the 90s and early 2000s, people were excited for new Worms games. I remember growing up watching some of my favorite content creators play Worms to millions of views. Nowadays, a lot of people just don't even know what it is anymore. While I'm sure at this point Team 17's other ventures are far more profitable than Worms, I truly wish they would give this series a real shot again, or even just fix or optimize any of these games that have been rotting unplayable on Steam. I'm sure the failure of Rumble and Tower Defense haven't helped, but it's pretty clear to see that a huge factor in the downfall of this series isn't just a loss of interest, but a clear pattern of behavior that has led to broken games and broken trust. Thanks everyone for watching this far. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Any type of engagement really helps my channel. Big thank you to my members and patrons, in particular Llama3 Lord for being a high tier patron. I post early access and behind the scenes stuff on there, so check it out if you're interested or if you just want to support me.